I only buy the finest tea leaves, sister. See, BOPF.
BOPF is indicated on the pack.
Sister, the art of tea.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Pradeep Kodipilli, says that the number of deaths among fishermen caused by the extreme weather has increased to 27. The Disaster Management Centre also notes that 29 others remain missing. The DMC also noted that 101 houses have been damaged, while 107 people from 24 families who were displaced have been housed in evacuation centres. Meanwhile, the bodies of 8 fishermen washed ashore in Balapitia earlier today. The police said that 7 of the bodies were of the fishermen who went missing in the Ahungala area. The police said that the other body was of a resident of the Balapitia area. 22 people have been hospitalized after sustaining injuries in accidents related to the extreme weather conditions. 37 fishing boats are still missing. The Sri Lanka Navy and Air Force are continuing their search and rescue operation to locate fishermen who went missing due to the inclement weather conditions.
According to the Department of Meteorology, the gale winds that battered the country since Friday entered the island from the southwest region. At some occasions, the wind speeds were around 80 km per hour. The gale winds mostly affected the western and southern coastal areas and the northwestern part of the country. At the time the weather situation grew worse, fishermen had already set out to sea. We set out to sea at around 5 last evening. At night, the rains were accompanied by strong winds. At 5:30 in the morning, we tried to pull in the nets back to the vessel and the vessel turned over. We were rescued by a helicopter.
It was dark when they set off to sea last evening. The seas were rough. The boat had turned over. They only found pieces of the boat. My son and uncle are both missing.
The Sri Lanka Air Force today dispatched its sea craft in a bid to locate the fishermen reported missing.
Continuing with yesterday's search and rescue operations, the Sri Lanka Air Force has launched its surveillance aircraft, the Beechcraft, to patrol the coastal area from Kolpeti to Galle. The search and rescue operations are being carried out in conjunction with the Sri Lankan Navy. And as we used yesterday, we also have the Bell 412 helicopters on standby for any eventuality for rescue purposes, as well as the Whitewell, which will also continue with the surveillance activity like we did yesterday.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan Navy had dispatched 4 vessels and 10 Dora boats for search and rescue operations. The body of a fisherman whose fishing boat toppled after setting off to sea from Dehiwala on Friday evening had washed ashore today in Angulana. The victim, 45-year-old unmarried Bennett Fernando, was a resident from Dehiwala.
They knew nothing about a storm. The Met Department did not inform us about the weather. If they informed us, they will not have set off to sea.
Meanwhile, the body of another fisherman, a 52-year-old, was washed ashore in Negombo and was identified by the relatives.
If the authorities informed the people, such a tragedy would not have taken place.
The body of a fisherman who had set off to sea from Balapitia was discovered from Ahungala last evening. A correspondent in the area said that the body was handed over to the relatives today.